You know what's funny? We're constantly talking about boomers or millennials or trying to decode Gen Z like they just landed from another planet. But there's this whole generation sitting right in the middle that barely gets mentioned at all. Generation X, born somewhere between 1965 and 1980. You know them? They're your older coworker who just gets the job done and doesn't make a big deal about it. They might be your parents, the ones who love you fiercely, but sometimes seem a little emotionally hands-off. They helped build the internet, but they're not posting selfies of their lunch. And honestly, they might be the most misunderstood generation alive. Picture this for a second. It's 1978. You're 8 years old. You walk home from school. Let yourself into an empty house, and you're on your own until dinner. No cell phone. No Ring camera. No quick text to say, "Hey, I'm home." You make your own snack. You do your homework. You wait. By the mid-80s, millions of kids were doing exactly that every single day. An entire generation growing up unsupervised after school. That kind of childhood changes you. It teaches you early that you can't always count on someone being there. You figure things out because you have to. And when your parents did come home, the rules were clear. If you messed up, you knew it immediately. There wasn't a long family meeting about feelings. Actions had consequences, period. So your brain learned to think ahead, to calculate risk, to ask, if I do this, what happens next? That's part of why Gen X tends to think 3 moves ahead. It's not magic, it's survival training. They also grew up watching adults promise stability, then blow it up. Divorce rates spiked. Companies laid off loyal employees without blinking. The message was, work hard and everything will work out. But then the rules changed mid-game. So they developed something that looks like cynicism. But it's not exactly that. It's more like emotional armor. They hope for the best, sure. But they also keep one eye on the exit, just in case. That's also why you don't see a lot of them oversharing online. They grew up in a world where privacy was normal. You did something embarrassing, maybe 5 people knew. No screenshots, no viral clips, no permanent record. Broadcasting your entire life to strangers. That doesn't feel thrilling, it feels risky. Humor became a shield. Irony became protection. They grew up with Cold War drills where teachers talked about nuclear war like it was just another Tuesday. Duck and cover, as if a desk would save you. When the world feels unstable, but adults tell you not to worry, you learn to keep emotional distance. And then there's work. Gen X doesn't usually post about their hustle. They just hustle. Paper routes before sunrise. Fast food jobs where you had to calculate change in your head if the register broke. Delivering newspapers to an entire neighborhood at 12 years old. Those weren't CV builders. They were crash courses in responsibility. They watched their parents get wrecked by corporate restructuring, so they don't worship companies. They're loyal to their own competence instead. They can't control layoffs, but they can control being the most capable person in the room. Here's the paradox. They're incredibly independent and quietly dependable. They'll struggle alone before asking for help. They've been doing that since they were kids. But if you need help, they'll show up. No announcement. No look at me being supportive post. They just handle it. Authority is another interesting one. Gen X respects skill, not titles. If you know what you're doing, they're all in. If you're incompetent with a fancy title, they're not impressed. They grew up watching political scandals, institutional failures, economic crashes. They learned early that power doesn't equal wisdom. Economically, they've been hit from every angle. Some graduated into the dot-com collapse. Others were finally hitting their stride when the 2008 financial crisis slammed into them. That kind of repeated instability sticks with you. It's why a lot of them have side gigs or backup plans. Not because it's trendy, because they've learned nothing is permanent. There's research showing Gen X is less likely to seek social support during stressful times. Not because they don't have people, but because asking can feel like losing. Self-reliance is wired deep. Even the way they learned things was different. Before Google, finding an answer meant digging through library card catalogs and hoping the one book you needed wasn't already checked out. Information took effort, and when something takes effort, you value it more. If your bike chain slipped, you didn't watch a tutorial. You flipped the bike over and figured it out. Grease on your hands, trial and error. That builds a certain confidence, the belief that most problems can be solved with patience and maybe a screwdriver. Now they're raising kids in a completely different world. Constant supervision, constant visibility, social media tracking every milestone. They've given their kids more attention than they had intentionally. But sometimes they wonder if too much protection creates fragility, because in their worldview, visibility equals vulnerability. Here's the thing. Generation X might be the last group that truly remembers being alone with their thoughts, being bored, solving a problem without instantly searching for the answer. They're not better than anyone else. It's just shaped by a strange in-between era, when the old world was fading and the digital one hadn't fully arrived yet. They're the bridge generation. And bridges don't get a lot of applause. They just hold everything up, quietly, reliably, without asking for recognition. And honestly, not caring whether anyone notices might be the most Gen X trait of all. If this resonated with you, stick around. And if you appreciate these kinds of deep dives, consider subscribing or joining the channel. I'd really appreciate it.